Olive is an ostrich. She lives with her family in the outback. But Olive is very different. Olive's dad loves to run. Olive isn't a fast runner. Olive's mum enjoys laying huge eggs. Olive doesn't like the look of that at all. Olive's little brother pecks at the ground to find tasty roots to eat. Pecking at the ground makes Olive sneeze. But Olive has an incredible imagination. So while the rest of her family are running, pecking and laying eggs, Olive can be found imagining herself going on amazing adventures when she buries her head down, down into the sand. Until she popped up somewhere new. Olive found herself standing in front of a desk with a bell on it.
Ooh.
Next to her was a large suitcase. She rang the bell and a grumpy-looking llama jumped up from behind the desk.
Oh, hello, I'm Olive.
Basil Salty, welcome to the No Sea View Hotel. How many nights will you be staying?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Ugh, absolutely typical.
Said Basil, rolling his eyes. Just then, a parrot appeared, carrying a suitcase.
This is the worst hotel I've ever stayed in. The food is terrible, the service is useless, and the bedroom doesn't even have a sea view. Goodbye. But, madam,
Cake! Oh, I hope your other guests are having a better holiday.
You're the only one left. If I don't get some more guests soon, then I might have to close for good. Everyone wants a sea view, you see, but the only view from my hotel is that.
Olive looked out and saw a scruffy garden and a big truck.
Oh, why is that big truck parked outside?
Aha! That'll be Mr. Budget, the builder. He's here to fix the hole in the roof. I'll make a start on your roof, Mr. Salty. We'll have that hole fixed in no time.
Olive watched as the back of Mr. Budget's truck slowly opened and a huge pile of sand started pouring out onto the lawn.
What's he doing?
Basil and Olive rushed out into the garden, but they were too late. The sand had completely buried Basil's garden.
Oh, I'm sorry, I pressed the wrong switch. I'll clear that sand up right away.
Later. You have to fix the roof first.
Not a problem, Mr. Salty. If only I had someone to give me a hand, I'd get it fixed even quicker.
Well, I'm much too busy for that. Tell you what, here, Olive can help.
Okay. I suppose I could hold the ladder for you, Mr. Budget.
Thanks, Olive.
Mr. Budget began hammering the tiles onto the roof.
We'll have this done in a jiffy. Could you just pass up those new tiles, please, Olive?
Coming up.
But when Olive looked up, there was a huge fountain of water gushing everywhere.
No, I must have hammered a nail into one of the water pipes.
Basil appeared and he was not happy.
Oh, are you trying to put me out of business, Budget? You better get this repaired and fast.
Olive looked around.
A burst water pipe, a pile of sand and an umbrella. I think I may have an idea. Mr. Budget, we need to dig a big hole in the garden.
Righty-ho.
A hole in my garden? Have you gone stark raving mad? I absolutely forbid it.
But Basil, it'll...
Oh, no.
Don't worry, I just need to borrow your umbrella.
Olive used Basil's umbrella to direct the gushing water into the hole in the garden. Soon it was full. Finally, Basil could see Olive's plan.
Aha! Absolutely brilliant! The sand and the water make my garden look like the seaside.
Exactly!
Olive carried over 2 potted palm trees and planted them into the sand.
Now, all your guests have a sea view.
And I'll mend that roof right away, too.
Basil looked delighted, but not for long. The hotel reception was soon filled with new guests, all wanting to stay at his hotel because of the amazing sea view.
All these new guests. Now I'm never going to get a minute's rest.
Maybe so, but it's nice to see how busy you are.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Cake? Actually, I helped give a hotel a wonderful sea view.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. popped up somewhere new. Olive found herself on a huge lily pad in the middle of a pond. She was wearing a pointy hat and sparkly shoes. Nearby, some frogs were having a party.
Cake, is this a birthday party?
Oh no, it's no one's birthday. Us frogs just love to dance and party. You can join us if you like.
Yes, please. I love dancing. Almost as much as I love honey sandwiches, that is.
As Olive danced and ate her sandwich, she noticed a little frog sitting all on his own.
Hello, I'm Olive. What's your name?
Ribbit Patterson.
Why aren't you dancing? There's honey sandwiches too. And look, now everyone's catching flies.
I'm useless at catching flies. The other big frogs always laugh at me when I try.
Said Ribbit sadly.
Well, I won't laugh at you.
I couldn't even catch that fly over there, and it's really close.
Ribbit whipped out his tongue, only it was too short and he couldn't reach the fly.
Hey, Ribbit, look and learn, sunshine.
Called one of the bigger frogs. Olive and Ribbit ducked as the frog's massive tongue flew over their heads, caught the fly, then pulled it back into his mouth.
You see, I'll never catch flies like they can.
Olive looked over at the party. She spied some party blowers next to a big pot of honey on the table.
Party blowers, some honey. I think I may have an idea.
Olive dunked the party blower into the pot of sticky honey, then popped it into her beak like a rolled-up tongue.
Look, Olive.
Ribbit pointed to a fly sitting on a strange-looking plant. With all her might, Olive blew the sticky party blower. Only she missed, and it stuck to the strange plant instead.
Let me try,
Exclaimed Ribbit. But Olive had used too much honey, and the party blower was now stuck fast to her beak, as well as the plant.
It's stuck, it won't come off.
Suddenly, the plant began to rise out of the water.
Olive, why is the plant moving?
It wasn't a plant at all, but a very angry-looking crocodile. It swam off down the pond, dragging Olive with it.
Crocodile, it'll eat us all up.
Panicked Ribbit. Ribbit knew he had to do something, so he grabbed a spatula from one of the cakes and a party blower that he dipped in honey and waited for the crocodile to swim past him. Just as the crocodile got close, Ribbit blew the party blower as hard as he could and hit the crocodile. Ribbit was yanked off the lily pad and landed right on the crocodile's back.
Oh, I've never surfed on a crocodile before.
Ribbit used the spatula to unstick Olive's party blower.
Oh, I'm free.
Jump, Olive.
They both leapt to safety, just as the crocodile snapped up behind them.
Oh, Ribbit, you were magnificent.
Magnificent? He's the bravest frog on the whole pond.
The big frogs lifted Ribbit onto their shoulders and declared him and Olive the party guests of honour.
Good catch, Ribbit. My turn. A little less honey.
But Olive missed and caught a cupcake instead.
I never did fancy flies much. Cupcakes are far more tasty.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Cake? Actually, I helped a frog to catch a crocodile.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. She popped up somewhere new. Olive found herself on a stage with lots of animals playing musical instruments. She was wearing a long black jacket with tails. At the front of the musicians, Olive could see a man waving his arms all over the place.
Oh dear.
Olive turned and saw an octopus playing a xylophone. She seemed to be getting her 8 legs in a terrible tangle.
I'm Olive. Is everything okay?
I'm Jenny. Oh, the conductor's going way too fast today.
Is the conductor the man waving his arms around over there?
That's him.
Said a little mouse, frantically banging on a big bass drum next to Jenny.
I'm Barry, and I can't keep up either.
Olive watched the conductor. His arms were almost a blur.
There is a triangle that goes ting.
Quick, the triangle. You'll have to play it. Jenny's too tangled up.
Okay. How does it work?
Just hit it with a little stick.
The conductor pointed at Olive, and she hit the triangle. And then he went even faster until she couldn't keep up either.
What happened to the big round thing that goes crash?
He means those cymbals. Can you play them too? Just pick them up by the straps and crash them together.
Like this?
Not now, when I point at you.
The orchestra kept playing and the conductor kept conducting even faster.
Triangle, cymbals, triangle, cymbals.
Shouted the conductor at Olive. She had to run back and forth, switching between the two instruments as fast as she could.
Ow!
Finally, the piece was finished. The orchestra and Olive collapsed exhausted. But now the audience were coming in and finding their seats. That was only a rehearsal. They still had to play the piece all over again.
This is a nightmare. My orchestra is exhausted. What are we going to do?
But why is he still waving his arms?
There was definitely something funny going on. So she decided to go and talk to the conductor.
Excuse me, I'm Olive. Could you please slow down a bit?
Slow down. No, I cannot do this because of the problem I am having with this pesky fly.
The conductor swatted at a fly buzzing round his head, and Olive realised that was why he'd been waving his arms so fast.
I can't get rid of it.
A pesky fly, some cymbals. I think I may have an idea.
Olive grabbed the cymbals and set off, chasing the fly through the orchestra, over the cellos, round the tubas, in between the violins and under the piano.
Come here, fly!
The fly was pretty fast, but Olive didn't give up.
Brigade!
Then there was silence. Olive held the cymbals tightly together and listened. She could hear the fly buzzing around inside. The audience and orchestra all clapped loudly.
That was the first ever performance of the Fly and Cymbal Concerto by Olive the Ostrich.
The fly finally buzzed off, right out of the concert hall. Barry and Jenny ran over to Olive.
Well done, Olive. You've got a real knack with those cymbals.
Yes, that was amazing. It would be great if you could join our orchestra.
Thanks for the offer, but I really must fly.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Greg, actually, I caught a fly and played in an orchestra.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Until she popped up somewhere new. Olive had a scarf tied around her head, and there were huge sand dunes everywhere. The sun beat down, and it was very hot.
Phew, I'm glad I have this headscarf to protect me from the sun.
Exclaimed Olive. Suddenly, a man wearing long robes popped up from behind a sand dune.
Finally, I meet someone in this never-ending desert.
He seemed very pleased to see Olive.
Hello, my name's Olive.
Greetings, Olive. I am Ahmed, and you are very beautiful. I am certain you are worthy of many, many camels.
Well, thank you, I think. Do you have lots of camels, Ahmed?
I do, yes. But a few days ago, there was a huge sandstorm. It was impossible to see, and when the storm cleared, my camels were lost.
Oh, maybe I can help you find them.
Oh, thank you, Olive. I've been looking for them for many days. You don't have any water, do you? I'm so thirsty.
Sorry, I don't. And I'm starting to feel thirsty too.
Olive spotted something on the horizon. It looked like a couple of palm trees next to a pool of shimmering water.
Ahmed, I see water. Maybe the camels are over there.
Olive rushed off towards the palm trees.
Wait, Olive, come back.
Called Ahmed, but Olive kept running. She really needed a drink.
But Cake, where did they go?
She cried as Ahmed caught up.
Olive, that was a mirage.
What, Ash?
Sometimes in the desert, the heat and thirst make you think there is something in the distance that isn't really there. That is a mirage.
Oh, what are we going to do, Ahmed? I'm really thirsty now.
All we can do is keep walking.
So Olive and Ahmed set off. Soon the sun set and it was night. Olive gazed up at the twinkling stars.
Those stars look so beautiful.
Yes, they twinkle like your beautiful eyes.
Thanks, but let's concentrate on finding your camels.
Olive spotted a group of stars that made the shape of a camel.
Look look, Ahmed.
Ah, yes. That group of stars is called the Humpy Camel.
Camels lost in a desert. Some stars called the Humpy Camel. I think I may have an idea. Maybe the camels would find their way by following the stars. So we should follow them too.
Ah, excellent.
So Olive and Ahmed set off, walking towards the Humpy Camel. Soon, Olive heard something carried on the wind. It sounded like disco music.
Egg! It's coming from behind those sand dunes.
Olive and Ahmed climbed over the top of the dunes, and on the other side they saw a huge lake surrounded by palm trees. Next to it was a disco, and dancing to the music were Ahmed's camels.
My camels, hello!
The camels were all sipping tall glasses of orange juice. A waiter came up to Ahmed and Olive with some drinks.
Thank you. You, a drink at last.
Olive, I would be honored if you would dance with me.
I don't see why not.
So Ahmed and Olive joined the camels for a good old disco boogie. Ahmed was an excellent dancer, and Olive was having an amazing time.
Oh, I could dance with you all night, Ahmed. But I think it's time I desert this place.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Heck, actually, I've been partying in the desert.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. So she popped up somewhere new. Olive was inside a big cave with leafy bushes at the entrance.
Yes, this will be a masterpiece,
said a voice. Olive turned to see a bearded caveman who was painting on the wall of the cave.
Hello there, I'm Olive. I love your painting.
Ah, well, everyone does. My name is Pablo Picasso, and I'm the world's greatest cave painter. But there is a problem with this painting, Olive.
Oh, what's that then?
Asked Olive.
There's one animal missing. It should go here.
Oh, which animal would that be, Pablo?
The magnificent saber-toothed tiger.
Pablo held up his sketchbook.
You see, I go out and sketch the animals first in my sketchbook. They all stand still long enough, except the saber-toothed tiger. He's so shy, he always runs off before I can finish.
That's a shame.
Ah, my painting will never be finished.
Then Pablo's daughter walked in with his breakfast.
Ah, here's my daughter Aga. Is that breakfast?
It is. Wheatie Pops and mammoth milk, Daddy.
Oh, you know I'm allergic to mammoth milk.
Oops, sorry, I forgot.
As Pablo sneezed, he dropped his breakfast, leaving a puddle of milk on the ground outside the cave.
A breakfast I can't eat, an animal I can't paint. It's all too much.
Olive spotted the bushes at the entrance to the cave.
Some leafy bushes, a nervous saber-toothed tiger. I think I may have an idea. Pablo, can you collect some twigs and leaves off those bushes, please?
Well, I suppose so.
Then Olive and Pablo quickly stuck the twigs and leaves all over themselves.
Now, the saber-toothed tiger might be shy, but since we're camouflaged as bushes, he won't even know we're there.
Excellent plan, Olive. Now I'll be able to sketch him.
There was a problem, though. Their bush disguises were so bushy, they couldn't see where they were going.
Ouch!
Hey, sorry.
So they went round and round in circles and ended up back at the cave.
Oh, it looks like I'll never paint the saber-toothed tiger and complete my masterpiece.
Then Olive heard a gentle lapping sound.
Look, it's a saber-toothed tiger. He's drinking that mammoth milk you threw out.
Pablo looked very excited.
All right, Olive, let's get painting. Yellow, please, Olive, for the fur.
Yeah.
And now black for the stripes.
Ooh.
And finally, white for his saber tooth.
Here you go.
Finished! And it's perfect!
Declared Pablo, a little too loudly.
Pablo, shh.
But it was too late. The tiger had heard them.
Oh, what are we going to do, Olive?
Olive had to think quickly. She pointed to the new painting on the wall, and the tiger suddenly gave a loud and contented purr.
Yes, you love your portrait, don't you?
Oh, Daddy, he's so cute. Please, can we keep him?
Definitely not. It's not just mammoth milk I'm allergic to. It's saber-toothed tigers as well. Oh, okay. Oh, he is rather sweet, I suppose. Maybe we can keep him for a bit.
I think he likes you as much as his painting.
Chuckled Olive. They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Geg, actually, I helped a caveman finish his painting.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Till she popped up somewhere new. Olive was in a dark cave and could hear dripping water.
Hello?
Called Olive, and her voice echoed into the darkness.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
What a funny echo.
I'm not an echo, I'm a bat.
And I'm a bat too.
Olive looked to either side and could make out two little bats next to her.
We are the bats in hats.
Oh, do you mind me asking why you're called bats in hats when you're not wearing any hats?
Well, it's because we hang upside down and our hats keep falling off.
Upside down?
Olive suddenly realised that up was down and down was up. And she was in fact hanging from the top of a cave.
Oh dear, ostriches can't hang upside down.
Olive fell and landed with a plop in a big pile of hats. She stood up and straightened her feathers.
Oh, look at all these hats. One of them must be able to stay on.
No, they just keep falling off, Olive.
Well, let's give it a try, shall we?
Olive started picking up hats and popping them on the bats' heads, one after another. But they just kept falling off. She tried on woolly hats, top hats, cowboy hats, all types of hats. But they all fell off.
We told you, Olive. These hats just won't stay on.
Olive looked at the big pile of hats that they had just tried on and noticed that a thread of wool on one of the bobble hats was loose.
Bats that need hats, a loose thread. I think I may have an idea.
Olive pulled on the thread and got herself two nice long pieces. Then she took two of her favourite hats, held them on the bats' heads and used the thread to make little chin straps to hold them in place.
Perfect. Now you bats are in hats.
What? Oh dear. Now we're wearing hats. They're too heavy, Olive. We can't hold on with our feet.
The bats tried and tried to cling onto the ceiling, but the hats were indeed just too heavy, and they fell down into the pile of hats.
Are you both okay?
Asked Olive.
Yes, we're fine. But we will never be proper bats in hats.
Olive looked around the cave again and noticed some spiky rocks poking up from the ground and the hats with threads hanging from them.
Don't panic. I'm having another idea.
Olive picked up the two hats and tied either end to a tall, pointy rock, so the hats were hanging in the middle.
Now, if you fly up and cling to the ceiling, the hat should sit on your heads.
We'll give it a go.
So the bats flew up, clung to the ceiling, and kept trying to stretch down to put their heads into the hats. But they were just too far away. Eventually, they gave up, flopping down, exhausted, into the hats.
Oh dear, nothing I've tried seems to have worked.
Actually, Olive, these hats are really comfy. Yes, so warm.
The hat strung between the rocks was so comfortable, and the little bats were so worn out from all the excitement, they started drifting off to sleep.
Looks like you bats are finally in hats.
Thanks, Olive. We're going to have a nice long nap now.
Sweet dreams. Maybe from now on you should be called the bats in hats that take naps.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Geg, actually, I helped some bats with their hats.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Till she popped up somewhere new. Olive was inside a huge building. In the middle was a large machine with conveyor belts leading in all directions. Olive was wearing some green overalls and a yellow hard hat. Two men were working on the machine with spanners and screwdrivers.
Oh, what is wrong with this silly machine?
Complained one of the men.
Hello, I'm Olive. What's going on?
What ho, Olive? I'm Charles, foreman of this recycling plant. This is a recycling machine. Usually runs frightfully well, except at the moment it's not working at all.
What does a recycling machine do?
It sorts all the recyclable rubbish from the local area into paper, plastic, metal, and glass. But it's broken down, and we still have that huge pile of recycling to sort. Problem is, we just can't work out what's wrong.
Well, maybe I could take a look.
Be my guest, old bean,
said Charles, handing Olive a big spanner. She looked up at the machine's huge control panel, which had lots of dials, switches and buttons.
So, what could be the problem?
Olive wasn't sure where to start, so she took the spanner and twisted one of the bolts. Suddenly, lots of lights switched on and the machine made an odd noise.
Oh.
What? Who's there?
Asked Olive.
That really hurt,
complained a voice. Now all the lights were on, Olive could see that the control panel was actually a huge face.
Oh, hello there. I'm Olive.
I'm Recycle, the recycling machine,
it said. Charles and the other men looked amazed.
I say, we never knew that machine could talk.
Learn something every day, don't you?
Said Resai.
Resai, what's wrong? Why have you stopped sorting the recycling?
I'm sad because the lovely music has stopped. I only like to work along to music, especially something with a good beat.
Ah, that'll be our radio. Some careless chap dropped it on the floor yesterday and we haven't got ourselves a new one yet.
Olive looked over at the big pile of recycling. There were lots of objects in the pile.
Some old metal bin lids, some bottles, some pieces of wood. I think I may have an idea.
Olive grabbed the bin lids, bottles and wood from the pile and handed them to Charles and the other workers. She selected a bottle and an old metal spoon. Olive started a beat on the bottle.
Resai! Resai!
Charles and the other workers looked a bit confused, but started to join in.
Come on, all together now!
Resai! Resai!
Some of the workers made a beat using different pieces of recycling. Others hit the floor, the walls, and even the sides of Resai.
Oh, wow! I love it!
Cried Resai. Suddenly, the conveyor belt started moving as Resai's pistons and cogs began to turn.
Resai's working!
Certainly is. Excellent stuff.
Charles and the other workmen, while still drumming along to the beat, began to feed the recycling into Resai, and soon he was happily sorting it all out.
This is smashing stuff, Olive. Now we know how to keep Resai here a happy machine.
Yes, at least until you get round to buying a new radio.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
What the heck? Actually, I was cheering up an unhappy recycling machine.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. She popped up somewhere new. Olive was wearing a yellow helmet and big boots. She found herself in a room with a shiny pole in the corner, leading down through a hole in the floor. A strange noise was coming from under a blanket.
Sounds like somebody's snoring.
Just then, a loud bell rang out.
Heck, that's some alarm clock.
From under the blanket jumped a man wearing a uniform just like Olive's.
That's not an alarm clock. It means there's an emergency. It's a fire. You must be new here. I'm Freddy the firefighter.
Hello, I'm Olive.
Well, Olive, we've a fire to fight. Follow me.
Okay then.
Freddie slid down the pole. Olive took a deep breath and slid down after him.
Okay.
She landed by the big red fire engine. They both jumped in and it raced off. Soon, they arrived at a house by the sea. Outside were 5 ferrets wearing yellow fishermen's outfits.
So glad you're here. I'm Alan, and these are my brothers. Our boat shed has caught fire, and our fishing boat is inside.
Is everyone safely out, Alan?
Yeah, here. I'm here. Yes, we're all here.
Then stand back and we'll have this fire out in no time. Olive, let's get the hose.
They uncoiled the hose from the truck,
Here we go.
and Freddie
All right.
pointed it at the fire.
Good. Right, turn on the water, please.
Okay.
Olive turned on the tap.
Oh dear, that's not enough water to put out the fire.
There must be something wrong.
Just then, Olive and Freddie noticed some seagulls pecking at the hose.
Oh no! Those seagulls have pecked our hose full of holes. All the water is leaking out.
They must think your hose is a big worm.
Now, the flames were spreading to the shed roof.
We can't get the water to the fire without our hose.
What about our boat shed?
Olive noticed the ferret's clothes hanging on a washing line.
Some socks, some shirts. I think I may have an idea. Quick, Alan, pass me those socks and shirts.
Okay.
Olive started stuffing the shirts inside the socks and linking them all together to make a giant worm shape.
Come and get it, seagulls.
The seagulls flew over and excitedly pecked at the sock worm.
Oh, nice one, Olive.
Olive and Freddie quickly patched up the hose. The water spurted out over the boat shed, and soon the fire was out.
Thanks for putting the fire out. Oh, but look at all those holes in our roof.
Not only that, the seagulls had realised that the sock worm was a trick, and they were not happy.
I think I have another idea.
Olive turned on the hose and sprayed water onto the ground. Soon, lots of wriggling worms popped up.
Oh, they must think it's raining.
Yes, worms always pop up from the soil when it rains.
The seagulls happily ate the tasty worms. In fact, they were so grateful, they flew off, picked up driftwood from the beach, and used it to patch up the holes in the roof.
Well, I never. It's as fine as any ferret could fancy.
Everyone was happy. One seagull even flew up to Olive with a big, juicy worm in its mouth.
Thanks, Mr. Seagull, but I think I've seen enough worms for one day.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Actually, I helped put out a fire for some ferret fishermen.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Until she popped up somewhere new. Olive was standing in a clearing surrounded by tall trees. She could hear someone bouncing up and down behind a tree, so popped her head round to see who it was.
Hello, I'm Olive. Who are you?
Asked Olive.
I'm the juicy red-bottomed monkey.
He replied.
That's an unusual name.
Well, let me explain. I'm the juicy monkey, the juicy monkey. Knees bent, jump up, grab the juicy fruit. I'm the juicy monkey, the juicy monkey. Knees bent, jump down, roll it down this chute. It falls in here and you shake it all about. Ha ha! You turn a little handle and the juice comes out. I'm the juicy monkey, the juicy monkey. Drink it up and shake my bottom all about.
Catchy song, but I still don't understand what you're doing.
I'm making juicy fruit smoothies, of course.
Okay, but you didn't actually have any fruit, so that made the rest of the song a little bit pointless.
Ah, but that's exactly the point. I have no fruit. I've picked all the fruit I can reach. The rest is way up high. Too high for me.
Can you climb up the tree and get the fruit?
Oh, please. I'm a red-bottomed monkey, not a climbing monkey. Anyway, these trees have prickles, and my paws are very delicate.
Olive looked around the clearing and spotted the long shoot.
A shoot? Lots of fruit a monkey can't reach. I think I may have an idea. We can use the shoot to poke down the fruit.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
But Olive wasn't listening and started poking the shoot high up into the branches. She poked again.
That's a funny sounding fruit.
That's not a fruit. That's a juicy red-bottom fruit bat.
As Olive pulled the shoot out of the leaves, she could see the bat was perched right on the end. He was wearing thick spectacles.
A was that poking my tree?
asked the Juicy Bat.
I'm Olive. Sorry for poking you, but I was just trying to knock down the fruit from the top branches to make juicy fruit smoothies.
Oh, I love juicy smoothies. Maybe I can help. I could pick the fruit and throw it down, but since I can't see very well, the fruit would go everywhere, and that's no good at all.
Olive looked at the bat, the chute, the smoothie maker, and the fruit high in the trees.
Gag, I think I may have another idea. Juicy Bat, fly up with this chute. Roll the fruit down the chute and we'll run underneath with the smoothie maker catching it all.
And off they went. The plan was going beautifully. Juicy Bat was picking the fruit and rolling it down the chute. But Olive was concentrating so hard on catching all the fruit that she tripped. The smoothie maker flipped in the air and all the fruit landed splat on her head.
What's so funny? I'm covered in squashed fruit and there isn't any left for the smoothie.
Oh, never mind the smoothie. We can always collect more. You look hilarious. And now you're officially a juicy ostrich. See, you've even got a red bottom.
Olive looked around at her bottom. The berry she landed on had made it all red with juice. They all sang the song.
She's the juicy ostrich, the juicy ostrich. She tripped up and now her bottom's juicy too.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Gag, actually, I helped a juicy monkey collect fruit.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Till she popped up somewhere new. Olive found herself outside a building with tall stone walls. In the distance was a flat-topped mountain. Olive was wearing a tunic and a strange feathery helmet. Suddenly, a helmet flew past Olive's head and landed in a pile of equipment.
Looks like someone's having a bit of a clear-out.
Hail, fellow Roman,
said a man wearing similar clothes to Olive.
Who, me?
Yes, you. Welcome to Fort Pompey. I am Caesar Saladius, the great Roman commander.
I see. But why are you throwing all these things out?
Well, we Romans are so good at fighting that no one wants to fight us anymore. Plus, Mummy is making me empty the fort so she can build a new swimming baths instead.
Saladius pointed to the large pile of swords, helmets and shields. There was also a huge catapult that fired rocks.
Can you help me, please, Olive? There's still loads to remove.
Okay, Saladius.
Olive began to help Saladius carry things out of the fort, but then a very stern-looking lady appeared. Saladius's bossy mother, Pusilla.
Saladius!
Yes, Mummy?
Have you still not finished clearing out this fort?
I'm just doing it now, Mummy.
Well, get on with it, please.
Olive and Caesar got back to work.
Your mummy's quite demanding, Saladius.
Tell me about it.
Suddenly, Olive heard a loud rumbling noise.
Oh, hey, is that your tummy rumbling?
Not me.
Olive saw that there was smoke coming out of the flat-top mountain in the distance.
Why is that mountain smoking?
Oh no, that's Mount Etna. It's a volcano. That smoke means it's about to erupt.
Cake! I'm glad it's a long way off then.
Suddenly, the volcano erupted, spewing out ash, and red-hot lava started to flow towards them. Pusilla came rushing outside.
Oh, you have to do something, Saladius. The lava and ash will cover the whole of our fort and the town of Pompey too.
I don't know what to do, Mummy. Olive, help us, please.
Olive looked around and spied the giant catapult.
An erupting volcano? A catapult? I think I may have an idea.
Olive also spotted one of the large rocks that had been dug out ready for Pusilla's new swimming bath.
Saladius, could you please help me lift that big rock into the catapult?
Okay.
If we aim very carefully, then this rock will plug the top of the volcano and stop it erupting.
That might just work.
Olive fired the catapult. It looked like she was right on target. But the rock flew straight over the top of the volcano.
Oh!
And then bounced back off a tree.
Hooray! It's back on course.
Olive, you did it!
yes, you've plugged the volcano and stopped the lava and ash. Pompeii is saved.
Happy to help.
You know, Solarius, I'm in such a good mood, I've decided to let you keep a little fort here, just in case of emergencies.
Oh, thank you, Mummy. And thanks to you too, Olive. Want to help me move my stuff back into the fort?
Well, all that excitement's really tired me out. But I've had a lovely time here in Pompeii.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
But Kek, actually, I helped stop a volcano from erupting.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure.